Ya Rabbi salli ala nabi.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. On March 15th, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at Winnipeg hosted a community iftar at the Manitoba Legislative Building, bringing together elected officials, community leaders, and guests from diverse backgrounds to share the spirit of Ramadan. The evening began with opening remarks followed by a recitation from the Holy Qur'an.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وأن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. Translations. O ye who believe, fasting is prescribed for you, as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may become righteous. The prescribed fasting is for the fixed number of days, but whoso among you is sick or is on journey shall fast some same number of other days. And for those who are able to fast only with great difficulty is an expiation. The feeding of poor men And whosoever performs a good work with willing obedience, it is better for him. And fasting is good for you if you are only new. The month of Ramadan is that in which the Quran was sent down as a guidance for mankind with clear proofs of guidance and discrimination. Therefore, whosoever of you is present at home in this month, let him fast therein. But whoso is sick or is on a journey shall fast the same number of other days. Allah desires to give you facility and He desires not hardship for you, and that you may complete the number, and that you may exhort Allah for His having guided you, and that you may be grateful.
Verses reminded us of the purpose of fasting in Ramadan. O ye who believe, fasting is prescribed for you as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may become righteous. And fasting is good for you, if only you knew. These words highlight that fasting is not only about abstaining from food and drink, but about developing righteousness, patience, and compassion for others. The program continued with a treaty acknowledgement, recognizing the traditional lands on which the gathering took place.
Before we continue with the program, I would like to acknowledge that we have gathered today on Treaty 1 territory, the traditional lands of Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, and Dani peoples, and the homeland of Métis Nation. We express our respect and gratitude to the indigenous people who have cared for this land for generations, and we recognize their history, culture, and enduring contribution to this region and to Canada.
Guests were then introduced to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at, a global Muslim community guided by the principle, love for all, hatred for none.
For those of you who may not be aware of our community, I will just give a brief introduction. Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat was established in 1889 as a revival movement in Qadian, India, by a promised Messiah, Mirza Ghulam Ahmad of Qadian. The community is guided by the principle of love for all, hatred for none. Across Canada, members of Ahmadiyya Muslim community are actively engaged in community services, humanitarian initiatives, and interfaith dialogue, working to promote the peace, mutual respect, and understanding. Events like this Community Iftar are part of our ongoing efforts to bring communities together and strengthen the bonds of friendship and harmony. Now, I will invite our local missionary, Mr. Labid, for a very short presentation about the significance of Ramadan and spirit of fasting.
Presentation by Mr. Labid Ahmed, local missionary of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at Winnipeg, spoke about the significance of Ramadan as a time for spiritual reflection, self-discipline, and service to humanity.
One, I want to start by saying I'm very delighted to see everyone in attendance today. We have all rejoined on this day, and I'm always delighted each time that I get to be with friends and members of our community. So today, the topic that I will be speaking on is the significance of the month of Ramadan for Muslims. So for Muslims, the significance is as it was defined for them. And God invites them to the month of Ramadan that they should obligatorily fast in this month so that they may be righteous. I'm hoping maybe the slide is up and it shows the translation. At the end, it says, so that they may be righteous. And so in a sense, that answers for what is ultimately sought to be achieved. That through this, through following and through fellowship, through putting their trust in what God is calling them to, God is actually opening a door for them in this month and saying that in this month, there's a unique blessing that He is stretching out for all of us. God is merciful unto all man at all times, and He's aware of our weaknesses and our laxness. And so He knows throughout the year the different types of temperaments we have. But in this month, He still invites everyone that they should engage as believers in this month to fast. And by doing so, God says that you can achieve true righteousness. And so each person, depending on how they do it, they achieve something great for the year. And that which they achieve can last for the span of the entire year. It can last for the span of their entire lives. And that is what is sought. For example, there's one chapter of the Holy Qur'an that mentions that there is a night of destiny. And the night of destiny, what would make someone know what the night of destiny is? It is greater than 1,000 months. And 1,000 months is roughly 80 and so years, which is the span of a normal lifestyle, normal lifespan. And so in that, it's alluding that in the span of this, if one achieves this one night of destiny, it is a miraculous and magnanimous achievement, such that it makes an impact on their lives for the entirety of their lives. And as believers, Muslims have many examples that they aspire to follow. And they see them as those who, having fasted, whether it's for 40 days in the desert or 40 days in Mount Sinai, they were able to achieve these things. And so Muslims themselves try to achieve it. I only have a brief moment of time, so I will try to summarize further. Taqwa, so that they can become righteous. Righteous actually translates to tattaqun, which comes from taqwa. Taqwa means to have God consciousness, which is the ultimate or the most important thing that we should all aspire to achieve. There might be great levels of excellence that one can achieve, but the bare minimum that invites us to heaven, that invites us to salvation, that invites us to goodness is God consciousness and a fear and a consciousness of God. This is something profoundly recognized by all traditions in the world. And so Islam invites believers to it. In the beginning verses of the Holy Qur'an, it actually begins with this grand invitation. God begins by saying, I am God, the all-knowing. This is that great book. It is a guidance. This is that great book. There's no doubt in it. It is a guidance for the righteous, for the muttaqi. And so even in there, it alludes that the purpose, the author, what this book is, what's the criteria of it, and that its purpose is to guide. And it's going to guide only the righteous. And God makes that clear, that each person comes to things differently. And depending on how they come, they receive it as such. And that is the human experience throughout history. It says the one who is going to often understand those deep spiritual matters is someone who's kind of attuned to it. It's someone who is some level doing something right. And so taqwa literally means a few criteria, and I'm going to mention them and hopefully conclude afterwards. It means taqwa literally means to take a shield. It means to acknowledge that there is a humility before something greater than them. Often a willingness to seek it out, a willingness to accept that most likely we are created with a purpose, a meaning, that there is something great out there worthy of at least seeking humbly so. So one who's doing that is in a state of honesty, genuineness, and earnestness, and humility naturally embarks upon him. When one does this, he is in a state of prayer. He believes in the power of his prayers, and he engages with them. He also is in a state of giving. He gives out of what God has given to him, and he believes that that is for his betterment. And in his doing so, it means that he is close to that quiet quality of taqwa. Taqwa also means to be honest, to call a spade, to stand for truthfulness, to be humble, ultimately. And so anyone who is doing that, this is something that it has nothing to do with religions. Even if someone is walking in the middle of a desert, someone is walking in a barren land, he can have taqwa in his heart. Because it's not a huge ask. It's not something that you need to be a learned scholar in so much literature. It's not something that you need the Qur'an for you to gather it. So that's why in the beginning God says this Qur'an, it can only guide somebody whose prerequisite is that he's already muttaqi. He already is on this state. So this is a state that often we bounce on and we bounce off of. I'm nearing the end mark, so I will actually conclude with this. Otherwise, there's so much further details that I would have loved to have shared. This is an expanded and great discussion that should be had more and more, especially in our times. But with that, I thank everyone for giving me a chance to share from our traditions. Thank you so much.
We were honored to hear remarks from our guest speakers, including Consular Brian Mays, the Honorable Minister Renee Cable, and the Honorable Member of Parliament, Terry Duguid. Also honored by the presence of Minister Mintu Sandhu, Minister Mike Moyes, MLA David Pankratz, and MLA Tyler Blaschko, whose attendance reflected the strong relationship between the community and our public representatives.
To have a meal of this sort here, I think is a good sign of the progress that's been made amongst all the communities.
Which says so much about your organization, that the motivation of this event was not only to make space for folks who follow the Quran and believe in the Islam faith, but really as an opportunity to teach others.
Thank you, Imam, for teaching us a new word tonight, taqwa, which if you're of the Muslim faith, of any faith, you can practice. And of course, your message each and every day to all of us, to the world, love for all, hatred for none.
Following this, Mr. Asif Khan, National Secretary, External Affairs of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at Canada, shared Islamic perspectives on global peace and justice and appreciated the Manitoba government for welcoming our community to host this event at the Legislative Building.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful. honorable members of the Legislative Assembly, our MP, ministers, respected clergy, distinguished guests, community leaders, and friends here in Manitoba. Assalamu alaikum, may peace be with you. It is truly a privilege for me to join you this evening here in the Manitoba Legislative Building. I want to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to the members of the Legislative Assembly and their staff who've welcomed us into this important space. Legislative buildings are more than structures of stone and tradition. They are where difficult decisions are debated, where the interests of citizens are balanced, and where leadership is expected to rise above partisanship in service of the common good. For the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at, being able to gather here during the holy month of Ramadan carries deep meaning. It symbolizes something we value greatly in Canada, that people of different faiths, cultures, and backgrounds can come together with mutual respect and goodwill. I would also like to thank the Ahmadiyya Muslim community here in Manitoba for organizing this evening and for inviting me to join you. I know how much work goes into bringing people together, especially when the dinner is scheduled precisely as I had mentioned before, where everybody's watching the clock. And speaking of fasting, I would like to extend a special thank you to those among you who may have decided to fast today. I know it's not a small gesture. Many of you have full days of meetings and debates and responsibilities. And if you chose to experience Ramadan firsthand today, thank you very much. And if you did fast somewhere around mid-afternoon today, some of you may have begun to reconsider that decision. Around that time, even a simple glass of water looks like a luxury item. But I hope that through that experience, you caught a glimpse of something deeper. Why Muslims around the world actually look forward to this month. People often ask us, and they ask us the same question every year, why do you fast for 30 days? And the answer may sound surprising. Ramadan is not something that Muslims get through. Ramadan is something that Muslims look forward to. It is a gift. It's a spiritual reset button that arrives once a year. And when the fast breaks at sunset, something as simple as a date and a glass of water becomes a reminder of how easily we take everyday blessings for granted. But Ramadan is not only personal, it is also very deeply communal. Each evening, families gather, neighbors invite neighbors, mosques fill with people, shoulder to shoulder, young and old, newcomers and longtime Canadians, all equal in the same posture of prayer. It is a time when generosity increases, when charity expands, and when communities reconnect with one another. It is when community becomes a habit again. In many ways, Ramadan reminds us that society is a shared responsibility. And evenings like tonight reflect that spirit. If justice is compromised, if powerful nations pursue interests without regard for fairness, the world will continue to move toward instability, and future generations will inherit the consequences of our moral failures. Those are serious words, and they're not directed at one nation or one conflict. They are directed at a universal principle. Because the truth is this: power without principle is dangerous. Silence in the face of injustice is complicity, and peace without justice is fragile. It is only a pause, not a solution. Ramadan reminds Muslims that accountability is not only personal, it is a collective. Every individual, every community, and every institution must ask itself a simple question: are we making the world more humane? Yet despite the challenges around us, gatherings like today offer something very deeply hopeful. Tonight we see elected officials, clergy, community leaders, and citizens sitting together with goodwill. We see curiosity replacing suspicion. We see dialogue replacing division. Your presence, fasting with us, breaking bread with us, listening and engaging is the kind of quiet leadership that strengthens a province and strengthens a country. Moments like this may appear small, but they are powerful. Because strong societies are not built only through legislation, they are built through relationships, trust, and understanding. Before I conclude, I would again like to thank the Ahmadiyya Muslim community of Manitoba for their tireless work in building bridges throughout this province. Across Canada, it's been mentioned by our MP that Our Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at is guided by a simple motto: love for all, hatred for none. Those are not just a slogan for us, they are a principle that we strive to live by. To our honored guests, thank you for spending your evening with us. And to those who fasted today, congratulations. You now have experienced one full fast out of 30. But in all seriousness, I hope the experience today offered not just hunger, but insight. Perhaps the next time you see Muslims get excited about Ramadan, you will understand it is not excitement about abstaining from food. It is excitement about becoming better human beings and recommitting ourselves to service, compassion, and peace. May this blessed month bring peace to our communities, wisdom to our leaders, and justice to our world. Thank you again for honoring us with your presence. Ramadan Mubarak, and may peace and blessings be upon you all.
The program concluded with a vote of thanks by Khabar Latif, President of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at Winnipeg, expressing gratitude to all guests and volunteers who helped make the evening possible.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Honorable Member Parliament, Ministers, members of the Legislative Assembly, Councillor and distinguished guests. Good evening. As we prepare to conclude this evening, I am struck by the significance of where we stand. This building is the heart of Manitoba's democracy and a symbol of service. To see it filled tonight with the spirit of friendship and shared bread is truly powerful. Many think Ramadan as simply a month of abstaining from food and drink, but fasting is a concept that echoes through almost every major faith tradition, whether it is Lent in Christianity, Yom Kippur in Judaism, or the fast observed in Hinduism and Buddhism. The objective of fasting is not just hunger, it is mindfulness. By voluntarily giving up what we often take for granted, we refine our self-discipline and recalibrate our moral compass. It forces us to move our focus from our own needs to the needs of those around us. In Islam, the true benefit of Ramadan is attained only when our physical hunger translates into a hunger for justice, a hunger for peace, and a deeper empathy for those for whom hunger is not a choice, but a daily reality. This year marks our third consecutive year hosting this Break a Fast event here. It is heartening to see this becoming a staple tradition within these halls. To those of you who have joined us every single year since we started, thank you for your consistency. Your presence has helped turn a simple dinner into a bridge between our community and the leadership and people of Manitoba. On behalf of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at Winnipeg, I want to sincerely thank all our distinguished guests. In your busy schedules, your choice to spend this evening with us doesn't go unnoticed. Thank you for your friendship and thank you for celebrating the diversity that makes our community strong. May you all have a wonderful remainder of the evening. Thank you.
As the call to prayer was made, guests came together to break the fast. After breaking the fast, Muslims offered the evening prayer, while the rest of the guests continued enjoying dinner and social interaction.
حي على الفلاح
of our guests, most of whom were visiting from outside the community, thoroughly enjoyed the warm atmosphere, meaningful conversations, and the opportunity to experience the spirit of Ramadan together. Events like this Community Iftar remind us that when people come together with respect and openness, we can strengthen the bonds that unite our communities.
The Holy Prophet Muhammad is certainly like the Prime Minister.